All right, do I got the recording going? All right, I got the recording going. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to the very first Silver and Blue Huddle, episode 1 with Richblkman. And I got a special guest, SoooamazingNJ, who is also one of the best Facebook content creators on the platform. And he's also a Cowboy Nation fan as well. So, I'm very happy to have him here for the first episode. Hopefully, we can do this for you guys every single week at the same time, same place, Tuesdays at 7 p.m., exclusively live on the Stunt app. So welcome, So Amazing. I appreciate you being here today. Go ahead and tell the folks about yourself, man.
Hey, appreciate that lovely interview. Appreciate that, Richblkman, and appreciate Cowboy Nation out there, baby. Yep. So, yeah, it's your boy, So Amazing, New Jersey. I am a New Jersey Cowboys fan, hardcore fan since I've probably been about 5 years old. I'm in my 30s now. So, yeah, man, I saw all the championships, saw all the anguish, saw everything, the ups and downs, and I'm really just excited to talk about Cowboys, and that's what I'm here for.
Great. Good to have you here as well, man. Like I said, I've known you for quite a long time. We both been streaming on Facebook platforms, so I got to know you from Facebook. So, and it's been an amazing friendship ever since then. And we both were gamers. We played Madden. We both played with the Cowboys, and we dominate with the Cowboys. So it's great to have you here. But like I said, we're here to talk about our beloved Dallas Cowboys. And as always, it's always going to be our year because that's my diehard motto. Like that, I'm always going to say it's our year every single year, unless we had like a totally down year. But let's hop right into it, man. We in week 2 of the season of the NFL season, so let's just maybe recap like week 1 versus the Giants. It was a 40-0 domination. So I think that's all we need to say about that. So let's hop into week 2. We don't need to talk about the Giants, right?
Yeah. Honestly, the Giants game was just pure domination by the defense. Offensively, we did what we wanted. I think Giants only had like about maybe one drive that looked pretty good in like the first quarter, but that was basically it. I think the best offense that Daniel Jones even had was he scrambled out a couple times and he maybe escaped a pass rush, but I think that was basically it. The first game really nothing much to really talk about because it was such a dominant performance. I feel like the Jets even put up more of a fight than the Giants did.
Right, and I totally agree. And the only fortunate part about that is that we dominated the Giants. We beat the Giants. And if anybody remember, the Giants was a playoff team last year. So they did have great expectations going into the season. So obviously we thought it was going to be like a much better game, but obviously it didn't it didn't turn out like that. But we still got a lot of respect for the Giants. I still think they can probably be a good team, but just not against the Cowboys. Because going back, Dak owns the Cowboy. Owns the Giants. He's like on an 11-game win streak against the Giants. So they really didn't have no hope playing against Dak. But we was hoping that we was gonna have a much tougher matchup considering it's like week 1. And like I said, they did make the playoffs last year. So I was kind of hoping that they was going to come with like a better intensity, but that just ain't happened. Like from the jump, from play number 1, we jumped on them. So that was a great thing. Definitely coming from the defense. But, now all of a sudden the Giants are a bad team and the Cowboys beat a bad team. Come on, guys. They made the playoffs. Like before the season happened, you guys had them in the playoffs, right? So I read that some people even had the Giants maybe like taking the division, like maybe being second behind the Eagles. So yeah, that kind of confused me a little bit. But anything else you guys say about the Giants or week 1?
When it comes to the Giants, none really that much. I live over here in Jersey. I hear the New York City radio. Honestly, I was waiting for the Giants to actually lose to the Cardinals so I can hear it more on the radio over here. But
Right.
yeah, nothing too much from the Giants. They did what they had to do. Saquon, but they got to worry about Saquon Barkley right now. He's injured, so that's something what they got to worry about. I'm just more excited about our defense
Right.
and this Cowboy defense, what they did to dominate in that game. But if let's fast forward to what just happened this Sunday with the Jets. You had the Jets coming in there. They were very excited. They got this comeback win. They think, oh, maybe Zach Wilson can do it. And our defense, straight up, the plan was, and we knew it, all Cowboy Nation knew it, was stop Brees Hall and stop Dalvin Cook. If we slow down their run game, then they really didn't have nothing on their offense. It was force Zach to throw, right?
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. If you looked at the first drive, you had D Law, D Law in the backfield. tackling, Brees Hall in the first run play of the game. I mean, we were stunting on the defensive line. We were going outside and outsides. And I'll throw up a couple stats here. Like, I'm even looking at solo tackles. Marquise Bell, Vander Esch, and Stephon Gilmore. I mean, they even right now in 2 games, they have 9 to 8 solo tackles amongst themselves. You got Marquise Bell, Micah Parsons, and I think somebody else, Trayvon Diggs, with all forced fumble stats too as well. So you have too much defense, and the Jets just couldn't stop it. I mean, the only thing I would say like that was kind of bad from that game was I know I can never pronounce his name. He's like a left guard, Aguma. I can never say his name.
Yeah, he got injured.
You know what I'm
right?
talking about? I know he got injured, and he's like on special teams and stuff like that. He injured his elbow. But besides that, I mean, CD Lamb was having a good shot, and even the Jets head coach on the radio station this week said Dak found, and this is rare, but he said Dak found
Right.
the zones in the defense. So I know you got some stats for the offense. What you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, like with the offense, I really wanted to maybe talk about like these first 2 weeks of the season. Like for me, watching the Cowboys game and like watching it from start to finish, I'm like getting really, really excited about the play calling, like the difference in comparison to the play calling of Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore. Like for me, I haven't really been that predictable. I mean, the Cowboys haven't really been that predictable on offense compared to like last year because I've seen them come out even on the first play of the game or first downs, like passing the ball. And if you was like following the Cowboys with Kellen Moore, like that never really was a thing. Like they would come out in a single bag and they would stretch right or stretch left, or they'd just run a dot play right up in the middle of the field. But I like what Mike McCarthy's doing as far as the offensive play calling. He's keeping it fresh. He's keeping it new. These might be brand new plays. I don't know. I mean, it might be brand new formations with Mike McCarthy that he brought on from Green Bay. But I'm liking how he's calling the game. He's not putting too much pressure on Dak. He is not putting a lot of like crazy things out there for Dak to do, like throw a bunch of like 5-yard hitches and stuff like that. No, these routes are a little bit longer now. They going like 10 yards, 15 yards. They hitting like maybe in the middle of the field or whatever. Like the play calling has definitely been different. I've seen a big difference, and I think not putting so much pressure on Dak to throw the ball and get the team into certain positions has really helped the Cowboys this year, and it kind of helped keep them balanced as far as like on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, normally like on 2nd and 10, like you might see Dak like throw a pass in the old Kellen Moore offense. On the Mike McCarthy offense, it seemed like on 2nd and 10, they're running the ball to try to maybe position themselves for third down and get like a shorter distance to where they can convert on third down. On Kellen Moore, like you would just like pass the ball on 3 straight downs. Like that's the difference that I'm seeing in the offense on where Mike McCarthy calling plays. I mean, have you seen the difference or anything like that?
And I was gonna piggyback on what you were talking about, like with the play calling. I feel like these past 2 games, I mean, I'm going to be a realistic Cowboy fan when I say this. Like, yes, I'm very glad our defense is playing the way it is the past 2 weeks. But I mean, we beat Zach Wilson and we beat Daniel Jones, right? I mean, teams that are not really the upper echelon of their divisions right now, right?
Right.
So as a Cowboy fan, I'm happy. But offensively, I feel like
Are you muted
McCarthy's.
on stunt, by the way?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I was. There we go. My bad.
There you go.
So I feel like with McCarthy, it's more like he's calling a game knowing the defense is making plays. So as where Kellen Moore was taking more of a risk, like you said, like our defense would make a great stop and then he will come out, do 3 pass plays real fast. And next thing you know, it's 3 and out and we're back on defense, right? So it was like Kellen Moore was tiring our defense, whereas McCarthy is like, no, we got the lead, or we have a 1-score lead, or XYZ, and he's calling a game to not make a mistake, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, mistakes will happen. I get it. It's football, but he's calling a game to not make a mistake. He's like, okay, we have the lead. So why am I going to take a risk? Why am I, it's almost like a preseason when you call like a vanilla offense. Like he's calling plays So then, okay, we got the lead. You know what? Oh, we didn't do so well. Let's punt it off. Let's get a field goal. Like he's playing really smart. And speaking of offensive points, our kicker Aubrey, this guy Brandon Aubrey, that we what he came from the USC
Yeah, he's a
USFL.
soccer dude, right?
The guy hit 5 field goals in the Jets game. I think he has a total of like 16, maybe 19 points, period, that he's given our offense. And this guy is booting the ball.
Right. And I know Dak in the offense hasn't really been like converting in the red zone, which I think they need to work on. But I think it's great practice that this field goal kicker is getting so many opportunities to get in the hang of kicking field goals at the NFL level because he came from the soccer, I believe. So, I'm happy about that. I definitely want 7, and I hope they continue to improve on getting 7 points versus the 3. But I also like the fact that he's able to get practice, in-game practice on some of his kicks, and they've been doing pretty good. I think he missed like the very first one in week 1 with the Jets. I mean with the Giants, but other than that, man, I'm really liking the kicker. Hopefully he works out. We definitely need to continue to see him make kicks over the next couple of weeks. But I do like it. Yeah, I agree.
I think the
And
only
also
thing
just
that,
to
yeah, go
piggyback
ahead.
off of what you were saying about Mike McCarthy taking his time, like even with the lead, like the Cowboys are still like trying to chew clock and just game manage. Like with Cullen Moore last year with a lead, like we would still be trying to put points up on the board, which is good if we are converting. But there was games where we would let teams back into games because we was out there going 3 and out way too many times, and our defense was like so tired from us going 3 and out on offense. So yeah, I love that point. I love that you brought that up.
And that's the thing with Dak, right? It's like, look, let's all be real. Like, he has good stats,
Oh,
and
you
people
muted
like
again.
oh, a hardcore, Cowboys fan is gonna agree with me when I say that Dak does have great stats, but the thing is, it's you have to put him in situations where you can make him look good. You know what I'm saying? It's almost how like what Mike Shanahan is doing over at did I say Mike Shanahan? Kyle Shanahan
Yeah.
is doing over in with the Niners with Purdy, right? He's almost like he's play calling to make Purdy look good. So it's like with Dak, he can't be sitting back there looking like Aaron Rodgers and throw the ball 40 times. Like I don't want Dak back there throwing the ball 40 times a game. I don't want that. I want to establish the run, which he's doing. He's calling a balanced offense. The only thing that concerns me is making sure our O-line is healthy, right? And then when teams start to slow down our run, because end of the day, Rico Dowell, yes, he's a hard north-south runner. Pollard, one cut and go. Don't get me wrong; these guys are great running backs, right? And Deuce Vaughn, you bring him out. You could bring him out and do like a couple like throws and a little bit of a trick play with Deuce Vaughn. He's going to do his thing, right? But what gets me nervous is when they finally shut our run down. When we're in games where it's a dogfight and they're shutting the run down, can McCarthy still call a game where Dak can convert? I think that's what I want to see now going into week 3, week 4, and the rest of the season is when it's 3rd and 10, when it's 3rd and 9, when it's 3rd and 12, like those little situations where we just got to tackle for loss and it's 3rd and 12 or something. Can Dak drop back? Can McCarthy call can they call the combination routes and can we convert? Because our defense is going to be there, but I just that's what I hope for. I just hope that moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think so far when the Cowboys have needed like a first down or something like that, they've got it. They kind of converted it a little bit. I don't think I really saw where they had like a lot of 3 and outs and had to utilize a punter a lot compared to last year, as well. And I just want to shout out to my man Tracy, who's actually in chat, who was writing comments. This is going to be like the Silver and Blue Huddle is going to be a very interactive type podcast type show. So I will be definitely looking at the chat and interacting with everybody that comes in and chat it up. So shout out to my man Tracy. He's also here on the Stunt app as well. So shout out to him. He said Dallas looks tough to beat this year. It's going to come down to if we could beat San Francisco. Like I think that's going to be a good judgment game for us as well. But in my own professional opinion, and I know all things Dallas Cowboys, I don't think that matchup with San Fran week 5 is really going to be as what people want it to be. I think it's going to be kind of one sided. The Cowboys are going to come out and dominate. I mean, I watch a few San Fran games. I saw how Brock Purdy kind of plays, and to me, he's like always on the run. So I mean, I think the Cowboys defense is going to get out of him, but we're gonna save that for a few weeks from down the line before we talk about San Francisco. But I think that's gonna be a cakewalk. But shout out to all the chatters on Stunt app, man. We really appreciate you guys. Our very first episode. So
Yeah,
again, special guest, so
definitely.
amazing.
I was gonna say, yeah, definitely. Shout out to people in the chat, man, because I'm actually fairly new to the stunt app too as well, and Richblkman, people wanted it, so I'm on the cast today, and I'm down, man. I love this Cowboy stuff. We're having a great season so far. It's 2-0, very 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 exciting. Just like I said, like I just want certain things to happen for the offense. I want to see Dak convert better this year. And like you said, like, we don't want to talk about the Niners game, but it's different this year. You got McCarthy calling plays now. You gotta realize when you got a head coach that's been here already for a few years already, right? And
Right.
then you kind of feel like I don't want to say writing on the wall. I don't want to say it like that because it's not like his job is threatened, but you know how it is, Rich. It's just like being at your job, right? You're like, I'm coming to work every day, but I know the executives are probably looking over their shoulder at me. So it's like you kind of got to like prove to the executive, the big boss, like, hey, Jerry, I got this. Don't worry. I'm going to put us in a good position.
You're right. Yeah, I totally agree. Mike McCarthy is definitely going out with a bang. Where now this is last year or not, but he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna call these plays, and if we fail, it's gonna be totally on me. It's not gonna be on like the OC
Yep.
should have did this or that or DC. Like I'm the offensive guru around here, so I'm gonna be calling all these plays and like just looking at Dak's numbers from the offense, man, he was 31 of 38, including like 12 straight passes, like to start off the game against that great defense of the Jets. I mean, everybody be like, yo, the Cowboys just played the Jets. But I'm like, the Cowboys, I mean, the Jets defense is pretty good, right? They're like number one or something like that. They coming into the season, they had a lot of hype, and Dak completed like his first 12 passes in the game versus that number one defense. So I mean, that's not an easy thing to actually do. Looking at the receiving core for the Cowboys, I mean, CeeDee Lamb definitely was out there cooking, man. He had 13 targets, caught 11 for 143 yards. I mean, I think Mike McCarthy did a great job of moving around CeeDee Lamb. Like CeeDee just wasn't on the outside. When CeeDee was out there cooking, like he was coming in from the slot, he was coming in from different areas of the field, just wide open or just making plays, man. So I really hope that continues, and I really hope that the other Cowboy receivers don't get complacent with them maybe not getting as many targets or that many looks right now and like kind of slack off because like you said, when it's time to convert, can the Cowboys convert? And if CD is covered, can one of those other receivers get open to make that completed pass for the first down or the go ahead touchdown? I mean, we did see a Jalen Herbert, a Jalen Turbert sighting. So he was what 3 for 18 on 4 targets. So that was good to see because
He
he
did
had a
very
bad
well.
year his rookie year. So I mean, for him to come out and catch passes, that was pretty good. Obviously Brandon Cooks got hurt, but I hope he gets a little bit better, man. But Michael Gallup, you might want to show up at some point. I don't know where you was the last few games, but hopefully he gets it together as well. But yeah, offense did their thing, man. So
You know
yeah,
what I think was the play of the game for the Jets game, though?
what
The
was that?
play of the game was when Tyler Biotish hustled his booty
Right,
down the field, and there was a fumble,
right.
and this man jumped on it to save the possession.
Yes, and he was the
Shout
only
out the
one down there
hustle.
too.
Only one hustling. It was
Right.
like 38 yards. You know those next gen stats that they do like, oh, that so and so hit 30 miles an hour or whatever, like on a route. This man hit 15 miles an hour on his speed at center. So Madden, if you was watching the game, we need +1 speed on Tyler Biotis and +1 awareness. I'm just saying.
Ocho Cinco, take care of that for us, please. Okay.
But yeah, man, I'm just confident. Like I said, I have nothing more else to like, I guess, like, contribute. I mean, like I said, I could sit here all day and talk about Cowboys, but I mean, like, so we've been very dominant. I mean, I'm happy with the direction that the Cowboys are going. Um, Again, yeah, you can always work on some things here and there if you watch film, but when it comes to like, the next week's game, I'm fired up for it. I'm waiting to see what happens when we're in the trenches and we're down this time and seeing if we can fire back.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Definitely two dominant performances in the book already for the Cowboys, week 1, week 2. I don't care what nobody says. I mean, this is an NFL. There is really no bad teams. I mean, we played against professional quarterbacks. It's not easy to get to the professional level and play quarterback. So I know it just was Zach Wilson and yeah, but hey, that's not the Cowboys' problem. I mean, we played who took the field. So, I mean, you can categorize them as bad teams if you want to, but I know the Jets had the number 1 defense, and the Giants also was a playoff team last year. They had a lot of hoopla coming into the season, and the Cowboys are just hungry. We just dominated them, so we're definitely on to week 3. I think we just spent some time talking about week 3. We talked about 1 and 2, and let's move on to week 3. And we got the Cardinals coming up. It's going to be in Arizona. It's a road game. Road games do kind of scare me a little bit with the Cowboys, but then again, it's the freaking Cardinals, so we should dominate as long as we come out with the same game plan of maybe stopping their run game with James Conner. I've been looking at him the last couple of weeks, and he's been pretty dominant. So hopefully we can have that game plan come out, Dan Quinn come out and just be like, yo, guys, we're going to stop the run. And we're going to put Josh Dobbs, who I believe played for the Titans last year, I think, towards the end of the season, and get him to make some mistakes, and then we'll be back in the same position again, and where we just come out and just dominate. So what do you think about the week 3 matchup?
I mean, week 3 matchup. I mean, Cardinals don't scare me, right? What domination I've been seeing. The Cardinals are like a team. They look like they're going to fold for the year anyway. I mean, they already put, I think, Budda Baker on IR. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, they did. I think so. They're sitting him down. So I just feel like they're not really going to come out and like really, really fight that much. I mean, they're going to play, like you said, they're professional players. But I see Cowboys defense is going to dominate that game. I would like to see a lot more from the backups. Like maybe I would like to see a little bit more Rico and Deuce Vaughn. Like if we get up like a substantial lead, I would like to see Deuce Vaughn get some reps. I would like to see, like you said, Tolbert, maybe, get some design plays for Tolbert, try to get him running a couple routes. Again, when we have the lead, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about like right off the first drive. Like if we have like a 2-3 score lead and it's late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, I think we should start incorporating a lot of these guys and seeing what they can do. Maybe a little jet sweep with Turpin, because I don't want to go too far ahead, but like I'm kind of looking past the Cardinals a little bit. I'm gonna enjoy that matchup.
The disrespect,
the disrespect, right, to the Red Birds, right. Angry Birds, whatever you want to call them. But the game that really gets me nervous and I'm gonna be pumped up for is that New England game, only because it's a Belichick coach team. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I'm not really expecting too much of a fight from the Cardinals, considering they don't have they sports bra wearing quarterback in the lineup. So, Kyler Murray, he's out. Like, ain't no way I can have my quarterback wearing a sports bra in practice. Like, that's just crazy. But yeah, Belichick, to me, like just going like based off what he did to the Dolphins and how he kind of kept Tyreek Hill in check a little bit. I know Tyreek did end up having like a touchdown or whatever, but that was a hard touchdown that he had to earn. We've always played the Patriots kind of tough. If you remember, like last year when we played them, I think it was in New England. We end up having to go to, was it overtime with the walk-off CD Lamb touchdown? So it's going to be a tough matchup, obviously. I think they actually come to Dallas, though, this time. So it's going to be tough, man. He always gets his team ready to play, and they play tough defense. So I think the formula is the defense.
100%. 100%. 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's really nothing much to say. I just want to see the defense go out there, dominate. I want to see other guys eat. I know Dorrance Armstrong, Micah Parsons, and they're leading the team with sacks right now. So I'm just really excited. I'm excited to see. I wanted to see more Sam Williams, but of course, unfortunately, we're not going to see that. I wanted to see him do a little pass rush, but right. I think we're ready to go.
And so. Speaking of the defense, that might actually be the theme of the Cowboys this year, and I'm totally okay with it because honestly, as long as the defense is putting the offense in great positions, or even if the defense are getting pick sixes, fumble recovers for TDs, and giving us points, Like, I'm totally okay with the defense scoring points and the offense being kind of limited and keeping maybe Dak Prescott and his interceptions off the field. Okay, so we had a great addition to the defense this year, which is Stephon Gilmore. Do you think that you've seen a great impact from him already just from the first 2 weeks of the season?
Of course. I mean, you got to think about it. Stephon Gilmore is a veteran in the league, right? That's one. And two, it was another corner that we could put on the opposite of Diggs just in case we get, just for more defense, just in case there's another elite receiver we have to watch. He's going to play well. He's going to make his reads, and he's already converting turnovers. You know what I'm saying? He's already converted turnovers in 2 games. So, he's coming up, he's tackling too. He's got 8 solo tackles. So when you have 8 solo tackles by a cornerback, I mean, that's going to tell you that like he doesn't just guard, he doesn't just cover. He likes to come up and make a tackle too. So I think that's what you need to have in a Dan Quinn defense. You need to be able to come up and smack a little bit. I mean, when Curse got the interception and he was hustling those extra yards, that was very, very exciting too as well. So I was very excited to see a physical game by the Dallas Cowboys. In every aspect of the game. Deron Bland, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like this defense, it is a little bit of reminiscent of like, I don't want to call it like the Seahawks when Dan Quinn was there, but like it's very similar in like attacking style. Like the way he likes to attack an offense, like with that front seven, that front four rush, like doing these stunts and these weird ways of getting the pass rushers home to the quarterback. Like that's what I love the most. And Stephon Gilmore being an addition helps that pass rush.
Yeah, I think 100% as well. I like Stephon Gilmore. I like the defensive presence that he's brought to the team, and obviously the leadership that he's brought to the defensive side of the ball as well, with Diggs and some of the other corners and stuff like that. Everybody's really balling, and I love it. Like they're attacking the ball, like you say, with the stunts. Man, Micah Parsons just be coming. Like it'd be like a little gap, and then the quarterback is there, and you just see him coming around the corner, and bam, the quarterback is like taking down. Because didn't he have a sack on the first play of the game versus the Jets? Right, like that was a sack the first game. I mean, the first play,
Yeah,
right?
the first drop back, he just dropped right back and just
Yeah,
he was right on him.
yeah.
I mean, but he was on him the whole game. Like every time, like even when he got the ball off, he got him.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, the Cowboys definitely gave up that slant to Wilson, but I mean that's kind of the risk you take when you play a little bit of man coverage and the pressure don't get there. But I know the defense is definitely relying on pressure getting there, because as long as the pressure is there, then you can play man coverage behind all that. So I'm really, really glad that the pressure is getting there, and then them guys can like really stick together and play man defense back there. So shout out to the Cowboys defense right now. So, and I also know, like watching ESPN and like the media or whatever, like they still do not respect the Cowboys defense. Like I don't think I see anything from the 49ers to have them ranked above us as far as defense is concerned. Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's almost disrespectful. I think the only reason why they're doing that is because of the opponents that we play that we went against. It's That's exactly what it has to do. It has to do with the opponents that we went against, and they're not giving us credit for it, and they're not going to give us credit for the Cardinals either. Like if we go out and dominate the Cardinals, they're going to say the same thing. They're going to be like, "Well, who are you guys really playing?" Blah blah blah. Like
But the
Stephen A.
49ers
Smith is going
played
to.
against Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, exactly. But then the Steelers also won yesterday too, so they might say like, "Oh, well, look, the Steelers are a good team." Blah blah blah. The media likes to twist everything. They love to twist everything, but that's why you got guys like us that are hardcore Cowboy fans that keep it real and also make sure that the real news gets out there.
Right.
That the Cowboys
That's
are
what we here
dominant.
for.
The, Cow-
Absolutely.
the Cowboys are dominant. The Cowboys are dominant. The thing is, it's just nobody likes to say it. Everybody loves when we lose. Everybody loves would like to be on Twitter or X now. I'm sorry, and they love to just say, "Oh, look what happened to the Cowgirls." Blah 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 blah. Like we get talked about even when we lose or win. So I
Right.
love it.
And you know what's funny about that is they be like, yo, the Cowboys haven't been relevant since the 90s. I'm like, well, turn on your TV, turn on your radio. Like, we're talked about more now than when we was back in the 90s. I mean, you cannot turn on your TV or radio without hearing something about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, so how is that how are we not being relevant since the '90s when you can't turn on anything or see somebody walking down the street with a Dallas Cowboys shirt or a hat? Like we're more important today than what we was in the '90s. I mean, let's just keep it real. Like we are. Like there's nobody more relevant than the Dallas Cowboys right now. On the slow media day with ESPN, like you notice, like they don't really. They either talking about two things. They're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They're talking about LeBron James. Those are the two things that dominate sports media. And Dallas Cowboys definitely at the number one slot. So yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith cannot go a whole segment without mentioning us once. So I mean, regardless if we win or lose, he has to say something every day. So I'm just saying we're always talked about. People love to they love to stick it to us when we lose. But you know, the best part is Monday morning when we wake up and I get to get the nice stretch and I drink my nice coffee. It's a good day to work. It's a good day
Right.
walking into work.
Get to go in the office and be like, how about them Cowboys? You know what I'm saying?
You know?
Like, yeah.
I wear like the extra, I wear the official like, polo, so I'm still in work attire so they know they can't say nothing.
Right. And like one last thing, like about Stephen A. Smith, right? Like for years, bro, I had no idea that this man was not a Giants fan because like when the Giants was on top, they had Odell Beckham and they had Eli Manning. Like every Monday or every day, he would talk about the Giants. So I'm like, okay, this man is actually a Giants fan. That's the reason why he hates the Cowboys. But it turns out, and I found out like years later that the man actually loves the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm like, yo, bro, I never hear you talk about the Steelers, and that's because they sucked. So it was kind of a shock to me to know that Stephen A. was actually a Steelers fan versus a Giants fan who he loved to talk about so much. Like, I don't know if you knew that or not, but I just found out recently, like a few years ago, that he actually is a Steelers fan. I'm like, oh,
No,
I get it.
I agree. I agree. It happened to me too. I thought the same thing. I always thought it was hilarious. I was like, wait a minute, I thought this guy was a G-Men's fan. You gotta realize
Right.
I live in Jersey, guys. And those of you that listen to me right now, I live in Jersey. So I hear everything. I lived literally 10 minutes away from MetLife Stadium. I hear it all. I hear the G-Men and I hear this and I hear the Cowgirls. I hear everything. I go to the corner store to get my pork roll, egg, and cheese. For those of you that don't know, come to Jersey. Pork roll, egg, and cheese is like delicious. It's a breakfast meat. You'll love it. I go get my breakfast sandwich, and they always have something to say every football Sunday when I walk into the deli, and they go, "Oh, you take off that jersey, blah blah blah." Well, guess what? I'm keeping this jersey on loud and proud, and the stars will prosper.
Right. I totally agree with you, man. Like, so, I mean, first episode, we were like 30 minutes in. You know, we'll get a little bit better. We may extend the timeout or whatever. We don't want to keep the folks a little bit too long. But heading into week 3, what is your score prediction for the game? Any crazy stat line that you think is going to occur this upcoming Sunday against the Cardinals?
I say my score prediction is 32-14.
32-14.
I think 32-14. I think Cardinals score. I think they might sneak in a score in like the first half, and then I think they score again, like like in garbage time when we're in garbage time,
Right.
like in fourth quarter. I think it's like a 32-14 or something like that. That's what I'm calling.
Right. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I think we get like another 40 burger on the Cardinals. And I
Damn,
think
you
the
think 40?
defense I think we're gonna score 40 again. And I think the defense is gonna get another either a pick six, maybe 2 pick sixes. And they're gonna get 2 defensive touchdowns. So I think we're gonna hit 40 again. I think Dak is gonna put up some garbage time numbers, and we might even see Cooper Rush. I think Deuce Vaughn is probably going to score a TD this particular week because he should get some burn a little bit coming off the screen or something like that. I only think, like, I noticed with Deuce Vaughn, he's like so short, right? So Dak Prescott kind of like got to lob the ball up there to catch him a little bit to make sure that he don't overthrow him. So I thought that was kind of hilarious. But I think Deuce is going to get loose this week, and I think he's going to score a touchdown.
Because he's like throwing down to him, because he's like, what is he? Is he like 5'7" or something?
Yeah, he's like 5'7", and I'm 5'7". I'm like, yo, bro, ain't no way I'll look like that in pass, dog. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Like he got to be shorter than that. I'm gonna need Deuce Vaughn to stand next to some measurements or something like that because I mean I played football in high school and I swear I didn't look that small. So
that's hilarious. We might need a remeasure and stuff like that.
Hey,
but,
I don't know,
no,
but yeah, I
no,
mean,
I look forward to doing this again, though, man. I mean, honestly, anybody listening on the Stun app too, as well, and watching this on YouTube,
Right.
You know, I would love to do this more often with Richblkman. We're going to be covering a lot of things and engage with you know, Richblkman. Drop some comments. Let him know like if there's certain things you guys want to talk about as Cowboys fans and things like that. Any certain topics you want us to break down. I mean, because you know, we're down to talk about it all.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely going to be back here on the Stunt app every Tuesday night at about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely talking about all things Cowboys. I mean, we will venture into some of those other teams, but we're going to keep it mostly Cowboys here on the Silver and Blue Huddle. Like I said, with Richblkman, special guest, So Amazing NJ. And, you know, we really appreciate you guys tuning in today. And we look forward to coming back to you guys next week after the week 3 Cowboy win. So, appreciate y'all time. Any closing words you want to say? So amazing one last time.
Go Cowboys, DC4L. See you guys back on Tuesday.
All right. Peace out. We out, everybody.